Oh my gosh. What the hell is this?
Surprise isn't the word for this! What the hell is Dakota Kai doing here?
You got me, Corey. I have no clue.
Dakota Kai tweeted in a now deleted tweet saying, "I miss wrestling and I miss you guys," also stating that she isn't injured. And a matter of days later, she would be fired in the latest round of releases in WWE. To which I say, man, this one hurts. She joins the likes of Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Cora Jade, and Kai's partner Eddie Thorpe, who were also just released a month.
Braun Strowman? When was this list made? 3 hours ago? Was there another release that happened?
Among others. Her extended time off TV made no sense if she's cleared and able to wrestle. While I love Julia, Roxanne, and Stephanie Vaquera, Raw has focused a lot lately on appearances by NXT talents, so not using Kai seemed strange. She last appeared on WWE programming during the March 17th episode of Monday Night Raw, where she picked up a win against Ivy Nile.
And down, got her! GTK by Dakota Kai in the win!
She followed that up with another victory over Nile on the March 24th edition of Main Event, which would ultimately be her final match in a WWE ring. Dakota tweeted a final here we go again, right after the news broke of her release. Now, just a couple days ago, seemingly Dakota was gearing up for a comeback to the ring. She had just revealed her fresh curls, she was looking good, and now it's over. Nikita
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know who this wrestler is.
Lyons is still gainfully employed, by the way. Recently, Nick Khan said WWE doesn't bench people, so Dakota's absence was already a little weird. He said during an interview in what was speculated to be a subtle shot at AEW that WWE didn't do that. They wouldn't sign or keep wrestlers on the roster to simply not use them. Yet that's exactly what they've done with Dakota Kai and so many others over the years. Seemingly, WWE had plans for Dakota Kai, utilizing her well in the IC title tournament and then giving up somewhere along the way. You could argue that the reason Dakota wasn't being used on TV was because all of Damage Control wasn't fully healthy, but I don't buy it. Asuka and Kairi are out, but Io is still the world champion, so you could have even had her back Io instead of Rhea Ripley at some point. The hope initially was that since Asuka and Kairi will be healthy again soon, that this would theoretically bring back Kai as well. The one positive here is that Dakota Kai has already gained interest from outside companies and top agents in professional wrestling following her release from WWE.
You said she was an up-and-coming woman wrestler? Are they only going to talk about her?
As you would expect, Kai is going to have plenty of offers. WWE may not have seen through the tall grass, but the independent scene just caught themselves an Evie. When Dakota Kai shows up in DPW. Now, on a grander scale, almost every single one of these latest releases is so unwarranted. And I fear that with the way TKO and WWE are moving, this is a trend we will see again and again. The reason I say that is because WWE is known for hoarding talent at this point. They can go ahead and say they don't bench people, but they do. The countless names WWE has signed to only realize, okay, we either don't know how to book this person, or we just don't have the time, so enjoy the catering. I'd like to present to the court now the 2019 case of Ethan Carter III. I was really surprised to see the likes of Braun Strowman be released too. I'm not the biggest Braun fan in the world, but he's spent his entire comeback run making others look like monsters, and this is what you do to him? You look at guys like Jacob Fatu or Bronson Reed, who were made men after Strowman interactions.
Easy go golf cart! The monster of Omaha!
That dude is big.
And not to mention, Braun Strowman was kind of involved in the US title picture very recently as well, so it's even more bizarre. A lot of these releases are either inactive storylines on TV or they were. It's a very weird group of releases. One that was almost foreshadowed was Jakara Jackson. Of course, a part of metaphor until this past week on NXT when an ominous segment saw all 4 members parting ways.
And if it means that we need to go our separate ways to be the stars that we know we are.
Bro, I don't know none of these people. None of them. I don't know a single soul here except Braun Strowman. I think the problem is that there's not enough screen time to put everybody up, so they want to put the most popular people up in the star. Because like, let's keep it a stack. WWE is all about popularity. If you're a very popular character and people really, really like you, they're going to push you more. You said they have too much talent. Maybe, like, that's what it is. Because I saw a bunch of shit on the internet of, like, even Ricochet was talking about it, where he said that WWE made him lose love for wrestling, but then AEW kind of gave it back to him. I don't know, bro. Maybe there's too much, like you guys said. There's too much talent, but there's not enough screen time. You said, don't they need to spread it around? Maybe another wrestling organization needs to open up. I don't even fucking know. Because we have, what, AEW, WWE, NXT. What else is there out there? There's probably like a lower division of those things that I don't know too much about because I'm not that deep into it. I don't know. Lots of shit. Oh my god. Here's a better video. Hell no. How long was that video? Degeneration X.
I did feel, and I made the call.
Hell nah.
I don't want to be involved in that. Step back. Let the final boss step back into the shadows. And I called John after Elimination Chamber, spoke to him, called Cody, and I said, I think the final boss's work is done.
Listen up, Dwayne, you bald fraud! You!
What
Damn.
was the actual benefit of Cena selling his soul to The Rock?
I'm sorry, I cannot defend that.
This message goes out to The Rock. John Cena can ruin pro wrestling for everybody by being a heel. That doesn't need to come off in the most ridiculous, most underwhelming, most lame finish for WrestleMania that I've seen since WrestleMania 9.
We wanted to see Dwayne Johnson. We like Dwayne Johnson. We're upset that we didn't see Dwayne Johnson. So the fact that happened is getting it down.
WrestleMania 41 was a complete disaster. John Cena's heel turn has also been a failure, and there's one man responsible for this entire mess, and that man is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. In today's video, we're going to break down how The Rock ruined WrestleMania 41 through manipulation, broken promises, and flat-out lies. This is the harsh truth about The Rock.
Damn.
Should The Rock sit at the head of the table?
Before we get to the disaster that was WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, we need to rewind to January 1st, 2024.
Clipping my
that
damn
was
toes.
the night that The Rock returned and teased a WrestleMania 40 match with Roman Reigns. And honestly, that's where all the problems started. Up until then, Triple H had spent an entire year building a redemption arc for Cody Rhodes. It was all leading to one moment. Cody finally dethroning Roman Reigns and finishing the story. The WWE even booked Cody to win the Royal Rumble, and everything was falling into place until The Rock decided to insert himself into the mix. Dwayne essentially told Triple H and Cody to step aside, and they did. Cody Rhodes famously stepped down from challenging Roman, introducing The Rock as the new opponent instead. Behind the scenes, The Rock's camp wanted Cody to waste his Royal Rumble win on a match with Seth Rollins. This is a match that no one asked for or wanted to see. The fans wanted nothing but Cody versus Roman Reigns #2, period. But The Rock didn't care. That was until the fans made him care. The "We Want Cody" movement exploded, and the crowd would boo The Rock out of every building, and the backlash was so overwhelming that the WWE, they had no choice. The Rock turned heel, and a new feud with Cody Rhodes began, and I've gotta admit, it was incredible. The Rock was perfect as a villain. The segments were unforgettable, and that feud honestly saved WrestleMania 40. For the first time in a while, The Rock was back in the spotlight.
That's true. I forgot about all that extra shit that they were doing. He was like the main focus leading up to WrestleMania, and then WrestleMania, he didn't even go. You said not surprised people didn't like The Rock. Hollywood been vocal about him. Shit, man.
All the right reasons. After a string of box office failures, he returned to WWE and started delivering gold. Cody would go on to finish a story with Roman, but a new one with The Rock had just begun, or so we thought. That's when the lies began. That's when things took a turn, and The Rock's relationship with the WWE started to fall apart all over again. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in the Hell in a Cell match was originally set to main event Bad Blood, and the fans were hyped. This was the hottest storyline of the summer. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre put everything into this feud to get the fans invested, and it deserved to close out the show. But just like
I'm not gonna lie, Drew McIntyre been on fire, bro.
Rhodes before them, their spotlight was stolen. And this time, the fans weren't able to help because The Rock came back and took the main event for himself. Using his backstage influence, The Rock reshaped the show. Suddenly, the main event was no longer the Hell in a Cell. It was a tag team match with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns teaming up to take on the Bloodline. That match was very disappointing and forgettable. But then came the post-match segment. The Rock would make his return again, and this time it was to confront Cody Rhodes and maybe Roman Reigns, we don't know. And then he gave us a countdown, and the pay-per-view faded to black. Many fans gave this moment the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this was building up to something bigger. Maybe The Rock had a long-term story in mind, and that was the only reason people were willing to accept the fact that he buried the Drew McIntyre and CM Punk match. But no, there was no plan. Reports later confirmed that The Rock's surprise return was never intended to lead to anything, and if you didn't believe those reports, just look at what happened when Raw made its debut on Netflix. The Rock opened the show, and the fans were buzzing because surely this was it. He would challenge Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania, or maybe he'd officially announce his retirement match with Roman Reigns at that Mania. But none of that happened. Instead, he came out, he thanked Netflix, and then he dropped the final boss persona entirely, and it was just Dwayne Johnson talking about business deals. And just like that, the most compelling story the WWE had spent an entire year building, which was The Rock and Cody, was flushed down the drain. There was no payoff, we got nothing. This return meant nothing, and in the process, The Rock didn't just ruin Punk and Drew's Hell in a Cell main event, but he also derailed Cody's WrestleMania plans, which meant Triple H had to pivot again, and he needed to find a new opponent for Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
My perspective is I've always done what's best for business. What is best for business is I main event WrestleMania, and what is best for business is, for the first time, I confidently say that I'm going to win a 17th championship.
Sounds weird about this.
I can't lie, when The Rock did that shit with his neck, he got sausage fingers. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, the heel turn went crazy. It made everybody lose their shit, and then, you know, to see where it ended up leading was very underwhelming.
Oh my God! He kicks him! What? Cena kicks Cody! We're gonna drop Cena, heel turn finally! Cena! Please, no!
Little boy crying. Oh, Cena's evil. Oh.
No! No!
Those reactions. It's clear that John Cena's heel turn was a once-in-a-generation moment, but it was all ruined because The Rock forced Triple H to move it from the original plan of WrestleMania to the Chamber just so he could be a part of it. And his excuse was that WWE needed to sell more tickets for the Chamber pay-per-view, but the show was already 95% sold out by that point. At first, I didn't mind. A faction with John Cena and The Rock, now that could have changed WWE forever. But that's not what we got. Instead, it was just another ego trip for Dwayne. He wanted to attach himself to the biggest story, even though he never had plans to actually be a part of it. That's why John Cena and Cody never mentioned him, and that's why we didn't see him again. That's also why the build was so awkward, because John Cena was never supposed to turn heel yet. If The Rock was never going to stick around, then Cena's heel turn should have happened at WrestleMania. That moment belonged there. The Rock.
True. The heel turn should have happened in WrestleMania. Cause the heel turn reaction was amazing. But if it happened on WrestleMania, I feel like it would have been perfect. Because WrestleMania is like the biggest night, you know? Night 2 WrestleMania, Cena heel turn would have been perfect.
Rock stripped us of what could have been the greatest WrestleMania moment of all time. To make things even worse, he didn't even show up at Mania. And when it all fell apart,
just Travis Scott
did what he always does, which is damage control. Meanwhile, Triple H was left trying to brace fans for the disaster that we got. The harsh truth is that we can't keep doing this. Something's got to change because this is not working. The Rock ruined John Cena's heel turn. He ruined WrestleMania 41, and he's going to keep ruining WWE's future unless he makes a choice. You're either 100% committed or you're out.
So The Rock, sit at the head of the table. The Rock's got your attention now, does he? You pieces of elbow. Cody is screwed. He has done an amazing job. Cody Rhodes, thank you, brother.
That's not real life, right? Complaining that is on it.
Or who knows? Imagine like this is all part of the plan and we just don't know about it. What if we think that this is all BS, but this is all according to plan?
It's not real life.
I don't want that. I want your soul.
And I said, I think the final boss's work is done.
Hey, Rock, go yourself.
We will never know. We will never know. After this video, Rock is going to try In-N-Out burgers for the first time. I don't even know what the fuck that means. What does that even mean? What is that even a reference to? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? You said The Rock is not that smart? We don't know. We don't know, bro. We don't know.